Veronica EQ with your Saged Insight today. And we're going to do a little dive into narcissism because it's a huge topic that we are going to do a deep dive into. But I wanted to just give you a point of reference that if you're dealing with an individual who you may not know if they're a full narcissist or have narcissistic tendencies, I personally am always a little cautious before accusing of someone in that because it's such a trigger word lately. Because it is becoming more prevalent and commonly known that it is an issue. But it's always good to have some space to step back from. But what was happening with my client is she was dealing with an individual in her life, a family member, and she came to me very confused about what was happening, even though she had inclinations that this individual was a covert narcissist. And my encouragement in those moments in time, if you are struggling to understand if how you're being treated is fair or not, especially when it comes to family members, because it's not always apparent or easy to see, is to either put your own child, a child that you love and care about dearly, or if you've done a lot of that inner child work and you're very protective of that little inner child within you, take one of those three and remove yourself from the scene and insert that child into the scene with this individual and watch the interaction. And if you find you are enraged or angry or frustrated for that child, then know how you are being treated is unfair, unkind, manipulative, abusive even. And it's important sometimes to really recognize that we, especially as victims, if you've ever been victimized of anything, there is a psychological tendency to minimize what you've been through. That's actually a big issue in complex PTSD studies, but it is normal to minimize what you've been through, thinking, oh no, this is how they always are, or whatever. But the more you become aware, you realize this behavior is not appropriate. Not okay, and especially if you can see that based off of that child. Because if we are not always able to take responsibility for ourselves, you can absolutely know that you would take responsibility for that child and stand up for that child. When you know that, great, stand up for yourself. But sometimes, again, it's important to have that distance to see whether or not we're crazy, or if we're minimizing, or if what we're experiencing is actually something that needs to be addressed. So I hope that helps when you're in your journey to give you more space and perspective. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.